Well, I finally did it. I finally finished the Land Cruiser. This project has gone on for years and years, but I finally finished it. At the end of my last video, I mentioned there were still a lot of things to do. I needed to put the top back on, which included painting the fiberglass portion of the top. I needed to install the new air conditioning, and I needed to reupholster the seats. I did all of those things, and then I sold it. Stick around to the end of the video to find out why. So this is where we left off in the last video, and as you can see, these seats need some attention. We need to recover the seats, we also need to strip down the metal and repaint it. So I pulled the seats apart, I sanded down the metal bits, and then I repainted them with Steelite paint. I really love this stuff. It's very, very good paint. It's expensive, but it's good. Then it was just a matter of installing the upholstery kit that I bought, which was pretty straightforward. You basically just put the material over the foam and around the seat frame, and then you screw it in from the bottom. It's pretty easy. I didn't really have any issues with this. In fact, the only issue I did have with the seats was when I broke this bolt off. This is like a special bolt that's made specifically for this type of seat, and unfortunately I couldn't find one anywhere to replace it, not even on eBay. Luckily for me, I was able to remove the broken part by using this bolt extractor. These do not always work, but when they do work, it is oh so satisfying to watch that broken piece of bolt just unscrew. So to repair it, I just cleaned up the broken part, and then I cut the head off of a good bolt. I welded those two together, cleaned up the threads, and we're back in business. Before we install the seats, we need to reinstall the fuel tank. This fuel tank was made to be used with a carburetor, and because we added fuel injection, we need to also add a return line to this fuel tank. Now this tank has been sitting empty for many, many years. There's definitely no fuel inside of it, and I don't believe there are any fuel fumes either. But just to be safe, I used this torch to try to burn off any fumes that might have been inside. And once I knew it was safe, I went ahead and drilled a hole in the tank, and I added this hard fuel line that I had laying around. After soldering this on, I did a pressure test on the tank, which was fine. There were no leaks. I also spent some time cleaning out all the debris from drilling that hole, and then I was ready to install the tank. And then it was time to install the seats, give them a good test, and just admire how good they look. And I think these came out really, really good. This was a very easy process. I actually planned on making a whole video just showing how to reupholster these seats, but it went so smoothly and so easily that I didn't think it was worth making a whole video. So here they are. I think they came out great. Now it's time to move on to the top. This is not the fiberglass top that came on the truck. That top was in really bad shape, so I sold it with the other parts of the 71. So this top I found on Facebook Marketplace. It's in much better shape, but it still needs to be cleaned up and repainted. So I spent days sanding it, priming it, doing metal repair, and then painting it. And then I finally put it on the truck only to find out that it didn't fit. Somehow this top is about 1.5 inches too wide. I don't understand why. It's the right length, it looks just like the other tops, but it's just too wide. And there's no way that I can bring the sides of the truck out 1.5 inches. That's just not going to happen. So I went back on Facebook Marketplace and found another top in much better shape that didn't even need to be repainted, and I used that one. After installing the top, I moved on to installing the air conditioning. This is a kit from Vintage Air, and I highly recommend this kit in the Land Cruiser. It really transforms the truck. It's by far the best thing that I did to this truck. Now, this was pretty straightforward. The instructions are long and detailed, but if you follow them, you won't really have any issues installing it. Now, you do, of course, need all the equipment to recharge it, so this may not be something that everyone can do at home, but it is definitely something that's possible to do at home. So there you go. The Land Cruiser is done. I think it came out pretty much exactly how I wanted it to. It has the patina that I wanted. It's really nice and comfortable inside for a Land Cruiser. The air conditioner works great. The fuel injection works great. I'm actually really, really pleased with how this truck came out. Now, as I said before, I did sell it. There's a few reasons for that, and I'll show you what I bought with the money that I got from this sale. But first we'll talk about kind of the reasons that this truck didn't fit my life. These trucks are great. They're extremely robust, and while I've never taken this off-road, I have no doubt that it's very capable off-road. In fact, that's where it belongs. It belongs on a farm or going off-road. It does not belong in a city where I live. In the city, it's just kind of slow and it bounces around a lot. It's not really a great vehicle for the city. And top speed on this thing is probably only about 60, 65 miles an hour, so driving on the freeway is not really an option for me. So this truck just didn't fit my lifestyle, but I think it's a great truck. So ultimately, I decided to sell it. And if I'm being honest, I've known for a long time that this truck didn't really fit my lifestyle, which is why it took me so long to finish it. I really only got motivated to finish it when I knew I needed to sell it. And the reason I needed to sell it was because I needed to get money for something I had just purchased. And this is what I just purchased. This is a 1976 Porsche 912e. This is a 1-year only car. In 1976, they didn't have an entry-level Porsche, and they had a bunch of engines left over from the 914s, so they put that in a 911 body for 1 year. They only sold these in the US. They're pretty rare, they're also pretty valuable, and this is the second one that I've owned. I owned one years ago. I really enjoyed the car. I ended up selling it to buy a 911. I kind of always regretted it, and when this one came up on Bring a Trailer, I started bidding on it. Luckily, I was the winning bidder, and I got this car. It was in Oregon. I had a nice 5-day road trip driving it from Oregon back down to California, and I'm really happy with my purchase. This is a much more usable car. It fits my lifestyle better, and I'm happy with it. So I understand this is probably not the end result that a lot of you were wanting, but I did finally finish it. So everybody who kept asking me in the comments, when is it going to be done? Where are the rest of the videos? Here you go. It is actually done. I do have a history of always finishing my projects. Sometimes it takes a while, but I do eventually come back around to them and finish them. So I did finish this one. Also, it went to a good home. The person who bought it was familiar with my videos. They had actually followed along with some of the build. They were very happy to get the truck, and I have no doubt that they will take good care of it. So it went to a good home. So there you go, guys. That's the end of the FJ40 for this channel. But thank you for watching, and I do have more projects coming up. I have some other new projects coming up as well. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.